recognize how is it that you're feeling. Address that. Are you feeling stressed? And it's absolutely okay to feel stressed. We're all feeling stressed. I'm feeling fatigued being a mental health professional. So we're all okay. The first thing would be especially for parents, to accept that yes, we are feeling stressed. Have those kind of conversations with their kids and talk about genuine, real feelings, because we can't deny it anymore. Yeah. So
We
I think
can't,
that would be
absolutely, absolutely. We can't deny it. But you know what, Asa, what I feel is, what are, like, for example, kids their screen time has increased.
Yeah.
Now, how do we manage that? How do we make them understand, and how do we, handling, now that the schools have also started, they have, the mothers have that stress too, to
Yeah.
take care of their,
So a
what
lot
do
of
you,
schools are working online as well with their
yes,
with their
they are
children.
working online, but it's also added the stress to
Of
the,
managing.
on
Yeah, yeah,
handling
sure,
it. It's
sure.
also added more stress to the mothers, so
Yeah.
they are handling home. There are a lot of homes where I spoke to the, females, and they said that where we could spend some more extra time with the kids, we are not being able to spend some time with them.
Yeah, because it's
So,
all about chores and completing things, right?
yes, it's now,
Yeah.
so how should you make sure, and the kids have become either introvert or they've started becoming very angry. So how should you handle that anger? Is, what we want to know, what we
Okay.
want to understand, that at home, how should I handle the anger of my child?
I think this time is an opportunity to redefine the responsibilities and roles within the family, because there is a lot of redefinition that is going on. A lot has changed and a lot is changing. So it's important that people, just the mother or the female of the house should not be responsible for everything that goes on in the house. The responsibility has to be divided, especially if you have children who can help you in doing even basic things of like putting things away and all of that. It's a good time to instill those habits. It's a good time to talk about those things. Now the second thing is, as far as screen time is concerned, it is an excuse more than anything else, and I know that it puts a lot of pressure on the parents to constantly keep finding things for children to do. I also feel that sometimes we as a society today have gotten very used to having a quick fix for everything. Please let your children get bored. It's absolutely fine if they get bored. I remember getting bored when we didn't have any internet or laptops or iPads growing up. We innovated and created something that we could do on our own. Let them get bored. Put a restriction on the screen time, because the screen time is not only going to, one is the physical impact of it, the eyes and eyesight and all of that. Also, it impacts the concentration level. There's so much of bombardment of stimuli for a child's brain to process, that it will impact their concentration. And I've been getting a lot of questions around हमारा बच्चा concentrate नहीं कर रहा है, all of that. So that one is to define like roles and responsibilities within the household for everyone to share at their capacity. Second is to let your kids get bored. Have a restricted screen time, because anyway schools and all are also online, so it's important that we restrict it. The third is to have a routine. It is very, very important to distinguish your Monday to Friday from your Saturday and Sunday, because
Very,
otherwise we will get lost. Time will become is anyway, I think we're all beginning to feel the brunt of it, because we're not stepping out. Otherwise we had a natural routine. Keep your body clock and your biological clock, yours, your children, your families, same as like the day. Try and sleep on time, try and wake up on time. Keep your Mondays to Fridays separate from your Saturday Sunday. Make sure that your Saturday Sundays are relaxed and chilled out days. And especially for parents who are working, because like I've been working with a lot of corporates these days, and there are no tech boundaries that these people experience. So like even I see myself working for more number of hours and all 7 days a week, which is not a healthy thing, because it's important to put a restriction or a like a line on how many hours that is it that you're working, because you have to manage a lot more now. So that's another practical tip. Keep your boundaries in check. Know that this is my work time and this is how I'm going to work and function, because again the children will pick that up from you as well.
a lot of parents are telling me that the kids have started saying no now, after a month of a lockdown. Now the kids have started saying, we don't want to do this, and now they're throwing
Of course
tantrums.
they will be bored, Hina. Can we blame them? I mean, if we as adults are feeling so much, that's what I said, these feelings are going to come. The children are going to get angry. The children are going to get frustrated. The point is not to remove that anger or frustration, because it's a natural result of something that is happening to you. It's like if I pinch you, you will feel pain. Can you deny the pain? You
No,
can't.
not
You
at all.
can't. So
Not.
similarly, you can't deny what we are experiencing. And we all will experience different things differently. And that's absolutely fine. The point is to talk about it. The point is to not let it just slide and try to, quick fix it.
Yeah.
Because why is anger coming? The anger is coming because there is frustration. The frustration is there because, well, there is nothing to do. The child's mind is free, and and there is a constant tussle between the mother and the child, or the father and the child, about balancing things and juggling things and hustling and doing this and doing that. So, like I said, let those emotions come out, talk about them, recognize, tell your child, I understand that you're getting angry. I am feeling angry too. What can we do about it? How can we resolve it? When we start recognizing emotions, Hena, it gives us a lot of perspective, and then it makes the emotions real. Then we move from that whole reacting space to a more action oriented, space. So recognizing how you're feeling and how your child is feeling is extremely important. Give the child that feedback, talk to them, sit down. Also, routine will really help. Without action, these things won't change. So having an actionable routine is will be helpful.
I really want to share this. This when lockdown started, Astha, the initial first week also took a toll on us. I think like anybody else, it definitely took a toll on us. But
Yeah.
when we realized after a week, 10 days that this is not working, we have to not feel that it is a vacation going on. We've got to feel that it's work from home, and we have to get that set discipline. So we started our day, and we actually started our day from 8:30, and that's when we got things online.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and not only, there are other times when you tell your child or a toddler, don't do this and don't do that. I made sure that my 2.5-year-old toddler was also in it, though
Yeah,
obviously.
absolutely.
So now I have a question where the mother says, what do you do with hyper kids?
So that's a good question. Hyper kids need more direction. They need more avenues to keep themselves distracted and occupied. Having them do a lot of physical work. Like when I say physical work, like if your child is grown up enough and can hold, okay, help me set the table, make your own bed, help me clean. All of these things which requires physical energy will help. Also, expecting a hyper child to sit and study, or to sit in one place and not react, is just, it's an unrealistic expectation, right? So be realistic in your expectation, understand your child, help your child use his hyper activity in more constructive ways, that the child can. And avoid, like, so now here is when we can take care of the food and all of those things as well. So avoid like sweets, because anyway the activity is less, so avoid like sweets. Make sure that you're having high protein, high fiber food. The weather is changing, so all of that, all of these things need to be kept in mind as well, especially if your child is showing hyper active symptoms, or is generally being hyperactive.
Okay, I have a second question which says that, my son is glued to me, and I just got a baby girl, and I don't know how do I handle things. It's getting a toll on her health. How should
Right.
she handle this?
So one of the reasons why children stick to their parents is because they're feeling insecure, right? Also because they need validation. So now security and validation are two very different things, right? Uh, it's important for each member of the family to make the child feel secure. And especially with the coming in of a sibling, can create and can instill this this feeling. Involving your child in helping taking care of your daughter will be helpful. It will instill more sense of responsibility, because the child is seeking safety or validation because he or she, I mean, he thinks that he's not good enough, or he needs his mother for everything. So to validate that, involving him in different things to help, to help take care of the daughter, to also, do things around the house, be like mom's helper, that sort of a thing. Just changing the narrative around the relationship, that will be helpful as well. And even for the mother, it's important that she gets her rest and her sleep when the children are sleeping and resting also. The more, I mean, I think you said it in the beginning of our chat today, that it all trickles down, right? It comes from top to bottom. So how the parents are handling will
Yes.
also get filtered into how the children are, dealing with these situations.
So,
Yeah.
I think our Facebook Live was, I think we've got some technical problem there. So it got disrupted. I've started it again. So let's see if we have more questions. So we had another question. Astha, where one lady said that I beat my, I have started hitting my children. And it kind of makes me so guilty. And what should I do?
Yeah.
So, this lady has been doing meditation, and she said, not that I'm not spiritual, but I'm a human. And there's a lot of guilt. How should I fight with that guilt when I know that his inner child would be affected, but I really don't know how to
Yeah.
go forward. How should we help her?
So it's important to reflect what is making her, lose her patience. It does not make her less of a human being if she's losing her patience. It's fine. She's, like she said it, she's human herself. The build-up of that frustration can be looked into. That what is building up to that point that she's feeling so angry or so frustrated that she raises her hands on her child and then gets stuck in that whole cycle of guilt, and like then it's just ongoing, right? So it's important that she tries to recognize and talk about what is it that is helping and what is it that is pushing her to that to that level where she raises her hand. Are there other factors also that are contributing to her frustration? Because it or is it just the child? If it's just the child, then you focus on the child, right? And you try and resolve whatever the issue is, whether it's discipline or it's I mean, whatever the issue is with the child. But are there any other? Because mostly I've seen in such cases that mothers are sort of grappling with so many different things at the same time that they just get stretched, and then it comes out. The child is the easiest target to have, and I know it breaks a mother's heart when she does this, but it's important that she recognizes where is all the stress coming from. And I would really, and I would take this time to sort of encourage people to reach out. I know that I'm trying to answer a lot of questions here, but if it is something that you feel is obstructing you or is making you feel any unhealthy emotion, please reach out. Whether you reach out to me or to anybody else, that doesn't matter, but reach out to someone who you can talk to about how you are feeling also, and try and understand what is going on with you.
Because
Because fixing a child is not a solution.
Yes.
And there is no such thing as fixing a child. A child is not broken.
So I think it is fixing ourselves and fixing our emotions and fixing our mental health.
Essentially, so I don't like the word fix. I like the word like be more aware of yourself, be more understanding and accepting of yourself, be more understanding and accepting of your family, because that is where you start from. Once you're able to understand and accept, then you're able to find out a solution also. We all know our solutions. We all know what we need to do, how we need to do, because no one knows your family better than you do.
So, you also have some exercises that, before the sleep, if a mother can probably do it for herself and for her children. Do you also suggest that?
So one thing that I really encourage families to do together is at the end of the day, keep like, so I often tell my clients also that, create like a happiness corner in your house. In that corner, put a table on that table, put like a glass jar, and next to it, put like post-its. Even if you have really small children, I have a 3-year-old nephew and he can't write, but we sit with him and we ask him, okay, what are the 2 things that you're thankful for today, or what are the 2 things that made you happy today? So write those down, and the whole family can contribute in it. Like mom writes something, dad writes something, and they all share and discuss and fold it and put it in the jar. And it's just an activity to enhance gratitude, to enhance just to put a positive end to your day. Another thing that I encourage also encourage mothers to do is like you spoke about building the inner voice, the inner child. When your child is sleeping, it's a good habit to say positive, constructive affirmations to the child, like you are enough, or you are you're a good person, or whatever comforting words that you would like to share with your child. It just sort of becomes a part of their subconscious thinking. Also, the way we communicate with our child makes all the difference. It's not what we are saying, it's essentially how we say it. Always talk to your children at an eye contact level. Like they are shorter, so you go down to their level and talk to them at that level, because they just feel more respected like that. it's not right to, stand on top of them, tower over them and point a finger at them that, you're doing this wrong and you're doing that wrong. So yeah, these are some of the things that you can do. Also some amount of stretching, especially if your children are hyper, or, if you see that they are being extremely angry or emotional at this point of time. Some amount of stretching, some amount of breathing, those kind of activities before sleep are also beneficial. And also when you wake up in the morning, you can start your day with these things as well, just to put perspective to the day.
So I think I'm getting messages on my inbox since I think Facebook is working or not working. So I've been asked that, how should you handle somebody who's very aggressive? I have a teenager, and the entire day goes in fighting. They fight and I'm only resolving their fight. Do you?
So the children are fighting between themselves?
Yes. And what exercises do you suggest? What should I tell them? They're getting too, they're too close with each other, and that too closeness and too togetherness is kind of getting the beast out of them. So
Yeah.
asking, is there something that I can do?
Teenagers have with their teenagers, right? So emotionally, hormonally, physiologically, they're all fired up. So there is bound to be. See, we need to understand that at this time, the reason why teenagers rebel a lot is because they're trying to form their own identity, right? So the best thing that a parent can do at this point of time is, if you have two of them, speak to them separately about them, not about the other. No, don't interfere in their fights. Let them manage it on their own. They know best how to manage it, unless it's becoming, out of hand, like physically out of hand. If it is getting physically out of hand, then the parent has a right to just put a stop to it and put them in separate rooms. Also, like there has to be a consequence to their actions, right? Like there's a limit. The parent has to set a limit with their children, that okay, this is the amount of time that I'm not going to interfere. You guys are old enough to figure out things on your own. However, if it becomes physical or if it becomes very abusive, then you have to just go into separate rooms. That's one. Second, spend individual time with both your children who are teenagers. Ask them what is it that they're feeling, what is it that they're thinking, what is frustrating them, what is, like, it's important to help them recognize their own selves at that point of time. And that can only happen with conversation. If you focus too much on the fights, then fights become the focal point. The point is not the fight. The point is that the child is feeling something because of which both the children are fighting. Right? So talk to them, and also decide, like, have a discipline, in place, that, okay, I'm not going to interfere in your fights because you're old enough to manage them on your own. However, if it becomes abusive or if it becomes physical, we're going to put an end to it, and there's going to be a consequence, and the consequence can be something like, less TV time, or taking away their PlayStation or whatever, something like that.
So I have a question here, and she's saying, she's Pritinder, and she says that my husband and I have two different views of bringing up a child. So if I don't want to give a screen, he gives in. And my child is now so addicted to the screen.
Yeah.
How it's making us fight, and we've communicated, but it's not helping. How should we go about it?
See, both, you can have very, very different views on parenting. Absolutely. Because you're two different people. You are allowed to have two different views. You may differ in a lot of things. However, you need to find a mid ground. Now, this is not the child's fault at all. And this is not the child's problem also at all. It is where parents need to come together, and the parents need to understand that they're both working for the child. They might work at it differently, but they're both working for the child, for the benefit of the child, for the welfare and well-being of the child. So try and find a middle ground. It's very important. Otherwise, I mean, it can't be, like the tug of war that they're playing with their child, that they need to drop the rope and just come to a midpoint, which is that wherein they both compromise a little bit and understand what is the best hybrid version of parenting for the child. It can't be like either my way or your way. It has to be a hybrid version of both, because they're both important parts.
She's saying that, he gives in all the time, and understands the screen time is not good, but he's so stressed. He has his work, he has his office. There's no vacation for us.
Yeah.
And if I want to work and he wants to work, the only solution is screen time, and it's taking a toll on my health.
I said this earlier, Hannah. We blame screen a lot. remove the screen, let your child get bored, let your child scream and shout, he or she will find a way to do something else. How else do you plan to instigate creativity?
You know, actually,
Give them
we
options.
yeah,
Give
we
them options. Give them options that other than screen, these are the 5 options that you have to choose from, be it painting or, playing a game or whatever, reading. And there are so many things that are possible today. Give them options. Let them decide what their options are. Don't decide their options for them. However, put a firm foot down and say that there is not going to be screen time. And also, just because your child is crying and just because your child is throwing a tantrum does not mean that you have to give in to it. I know it requires a lot of patience. It will drive you up the wall, but then you need to do it for your child. Otherwise, every time we give in to a child, the child does not understand the boundary. The child does not, we fail the child in helping him or her comprehend where to draw a line for themselves. Right?
true,
So,
very true. So we should probably draw that line, draw the boundary. We should make sure that the children are not, they don't start manipulating us also, because
yeah. See, I'll give you an example, Hannah. When we're teaching a child how to walk, right? The child falls, right? The child falls thousands of times before the child actually learns how to get up on his own and walk. This is exactly the same training that you need to give for the child to manage his or her own time. We are in a we are dealing with a generation which has the liberty and the opportunity to use a lot of screen, which is not the right thing for them right now. Please put a discipline in. If your child throws a tantrum, let the child wear the tantrum out. It has to give them options, talk to them, reassure them that you're not taking away the screen, but shift the focus from the screen to the child. Because I've been getting last few years, I've got so many cases of parents who are fighting with their children because the children are not reducing screen time. And the child has to be, another thing that I think works wonderfully with children is to help them recognize what are they good at. So if your child is a good singer, or your child is a good artist, or your child is a good basketball player, or whatever, you know good writer, anything, help your child recognize what is it that he or she is good at, so that the focus changes. We use screens, even for us, like there are so many times when I catch myself just randomly going through Instagram over and over again just because I'm bored. So we think that the screen is going to make us feel good, but actually it doesn't. And it's the same thing for the child as well.
so we should put a stop to few things, and we should
Absolutely, that it's
and
very
I,
important to draw a line.
and I think as parents we need to control ourselves, because the minute we start controlling ourselves, a child would control himself.
Yeah.
But the problem here is, as I feel, the parents don't know how to handle their emotions. They don't know, and they don't want to see, having no help, they don't want to create a mess. Having no help, they don't want the kids to just roam around here and there, or create ruckus about anything. So I think, which is why they don't let the kids be the kids. Which is why I think a lot of issues.
I said earlier, Hina, that it's a good time to help your child develop the understanding of what responsibility is and what is shared responsibility within a family. Right? A lot of these narratives can be changed now. It's going to take some time, but it can be changed. Now we don't have an option. Kahan jayenge? Or what can we do? You know, having if you have a whiteboard or anything, or even on your fridge, write down chores for everybody in the family to do. You do yours and put a tick on it. Your partner, your husband or your wife does there. And every member of the family does that, and the child will pick up. The child will pick up from that.
True.
And let certain things be the child's responsibility only. Like for example, if you put a lot of your toys out, then it is your responsibility to pick it up. What usually happens is that the child will not pick it up, then the mother will get angry, and then in her anger she'll keep getting angry and screaming and shouting and pick up everything. So what you're doing is, you're not letting your child understand what responsibility essentially means, that there is going to be a consequence. The only consequence is going to be screaming, shouting, or maybe a slap here or there. Right? That's it. That is not a consequence, that is a punishment. Punishment is not a healthy way of learning.
True. Very true. Very true.
Let the child learn from the core of what does it mean to be in a shared responsible situation like this.
Okay, we've got another question, Astha, and that lady says that my daughter is 9-year-old, and she heard whatever she heard initially about coronavirus, and now she's so scared she doesn't want to join school. She says, "I don't want to
Yeah.
join school. I don't want to go back." Though she said we've limited the screen, she doesn't watch news anything anymore, but this is what she has it on her mind.
So two things. One is that so hypochondriasis, or the fear of health and all of that, is very natural at this point of time. It is heightened because they are at home, right? Once the lockdown reduces and the restrictions go down, chances are that this feeling will also go down in her, right?
Okay.
So when a child is, the reason why a child is behaving like this or a child is feeling so insecure is because there is a lot of anxiety. The only way to cut anxiety is to take action. For example, the mother can ask the child that, okay, what are the top 5 things that you would do to keep yourself safe?
Okay.
Washing your hands, putting a mask, if you've touched something, then, sanitizing it. If you bought something from outside, sanitizing it and using it. So just 4, 5 things that the child can do regularly, so that, see, because only when we take action will we feel more, content. If we don't take action, we won't feel content. So one way to deal with the anxiety is to do something about it. So one is that you can have like top 5 things that the child can do. Second is talk more about the positive situation that is there. Refrain from talking about how many deaths have happened, or how many this has happened or that happened. Talk about the constructive measures and the positive measures that the government is taking, and that all of us are taking in order to deal with this situation.
So we have to, replace the negative with the positive. Is
Yeah,
how,
yeah,
and we have
yeah.
to keep reiterating this. This has to be an
Yeah,
ongoing
and
process.
also action. Like a lot of action needs to go into managing anxiety, because there's anxiety can only be managed when we know that there's something that we can do. Anxiety comes from a feeling that I don't have anything in my control, right? Everything is out of my control, so I'm feeling helpless, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Now when I start doing something, I start feeling that, okay, I have some control over something. you know like right now, that girl might be feeling that, oh, like there's coronavirus and I can't do anything about it. If I step out, something will happen to me. But
Yeah.
if you tell her that there are measures that you can take to to not let these things happen to you, then you feel more in control of this,
Yes. Yes.
right? So yeah, that's a helpful sort of a thing for anxiety, at least.
Anxiety, and for somebody who, so Asa, I obviously there are too many questions and there are too many things, and I think we had this time for half an hour. But thank you so much. I think I will request people, if there are issues, I think it is very important that you need to talk, you need to deal with them, and you need to deal with
Absolutely, it's so important. And
up.
even your own feelings and thoughts, we're all feeling it, we're all in this together, we're not doing this alone.
Yes, yes, and I also feel that if today it's not a vacation, we are working from home. I know there are a lot of people saying कि आगे कल क्या होगा, हमारे पास काम नहीं है, काम आगे आएगा. So let's transform our fear into faith and see how we can convert, and how we can bring in new products, or probably develop those things and work from home
Yeah.
and create that space at home. Where we begin our day at 8 o'clock, where the children see that yes, it started. What do you say, Asta? I think this is how we need to
So
start.
the couple of things around this that I really want to highlight before we wrap up is, one is that use your entire house throughout the day. Don't be restricted in just one place. Make sure that everybody in the family and you have a different space for everything. Avoid your bedroom as much as you can, right? Bedroom should only be for sleeping, even for children. For parents who are working, create a separate working space for yourself. Work out of that, so that even the children know that, okay, this is a boundary. I can't go in here and I can't make noise and I can't trouble mom or dad or both when they are on their call, or when they're doing something. That's one. Second is, it is important at this point of time for the children and for the parents both to get a lot of physical activity. We're restricted in our physical movement, so it's important to have a deliberate time, because children can't go to the park, they're not able to go to their all of these things that the kids were used to do. So have like a sport, or a just like put like a dance on video on the YouTube, or some exercising video for kids There's so much available online these days. Exercise is very, very important. It will, otherwise you will be pulled down very quickly. So
Yeah.
keep yourself that, keep your food, like your food timings fixed. Have a routine, separate your, like I said earlier, Mondays from the weekend, like Monday to Friday from the weekends. Let your weekends be weekends, let your weekdays be weekdays. And also understand, and like what, I'll sort of continue from where you left and said that this is a time for innovation. It is time for us to be more prepared to not only deal with what is going on, but what might happen in the future also. So this requires a lot of, a lot of innovation, a lot of creativity. It also requires a lot of empathy and camaraderie. Be empathetic to yourself, be empathetic to your children, work at it together as a unit, like, as a complete family unit, and, it'll just become easier. We have to
Yes.
manage.
And before you sleep, like Astha said, use and make that gratitude jar and use those affirmations in your kids' ear. That works wonders. I have been doing that for I think a year now, Astha. I think you told me a year back.
Yeah, yeah.
Those affirmations really work. You've
They
had a
do.
bad day, they've had a bad day, you guys have but you also have good days, and you count your blessings, make it full fun. I want to say this, 20 years down the line, you will talk about this and you will tell your grandchildren, you know what, this happened one day and we all faced it and we all got through this, and what a beautiful feeling it would be then. So thank
Absolutely.
you so much, Astha.
Thank you so much, Hina. Thank you for this chat. I hope it was helpful.
Yes, though we did not go, and I think this will go on Zoom, and I will definitely, we could not connect on Facebook for some reason, but I think we will kind of record and put the recording there, and we will
Perfect.
release it there as soon as possible. And guys, you can connect with us on Reboot Wellness. And also, Asa, please share your phone number so that people can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so my number is 9718 383805. 9718 383805. That's my Reboot Wellness number. Please get in touch with us. If you Google Reboot Wellness, you'll be able to get onto our site, get in touch with us. If there's anything that you feel that we can do to support you, we'll be more than happy to do it.
Thank you so much, Asta. Have a
Thank
super
you.
good day. Finally, thanks
You
to
too.
COVID that I got to interview you.
No, I'm always there for you whenever you want to talk.
I know, but thank you so much,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye. Bye. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Ahanvi.